a bank account. I will say that bank account probably is the standard that asks for the most information. All the others are maybe 3 or 4 fields that you need to fill out, but you do need to provide some documentation. So for banking accounts, you are going to select add bank account. And here again, this stuff is all the same where you pick, the name for the reporter. You're going to notice this area here. I'm going to highlight it because all of this information starts to populate based on landing on this add a bank account. If you select this box, you are saying that we, meaning on behalf of my section, are not able to maintain a bank account in the section's name. Here again, as we talked about in government filing, there are certain countries that prohibit sections to have a bank account in the section's name. So in those cases, so we'll deal with that right off the bat. If you select this button, then you have a comments box. Notice all those other things go away. You just need to explain so that we have record of it is to, we know who you are, but that you're not able to do that, but that you have other information. And Janice or Molly, is there anything specific that you would like to see in the comment box if this does pertain to their sections?
Nothing specific in that box. In a situation where a section is unable to maintain an account in their own name, we do have an alternative procedure where an expense report can be submitted with detailed receipts, and we take that conversation outside of the app. We take that offline and deal directly with whoever will be submitting the expense report. So that's going to be a more direct one-on-one communication with the section officer. So just, if you want to include, generally what's prohibiting that is that legal, a legal reason that the account cannot be maintained in the section's name. You can put that in there, and then once the section has achieved compliance, then we will take that conversation offline.
Okay, perfect. I do have a question that popped up, Janice. It says, if our bank account has not changed, is there any way to copy last year's data?
You should still go ahead and update your submission because if you've had even a change in account signatory, that should be updated. Each compliance year, you should have new updated submissions, even if it's the same, the account information is the same, you'll still want to submit for the current year compliance.
Okay. So let's take this off and we're going to see now. I really don't want to, well, I might as well. So if we're going to put name of the banking institution, you just enter the name of the banking institution. You enter if it's a checking or savings, you're going to enter your numbers here. I'm doing this all fictitious just so that we can get through it. The same thing with the account beneficiary name, whatever that name is, and then who are your signators. So I'm going to put Janice and Molly on this particular fictitious entry. And then a copy of the canceled check, if applicable. That's not, and I think there are different rules, and I think it's listed in the handbook. You can tell I don't deal with this on a day-to-day basis. I'm not exactly sure what that was for, but I do know that the copy of the bank statement is preferable here as well. Janice, is there any reason why someone would do a canceled check?
Some accounts now don't have actual paper checks. We do go through a vetting process. We do have to make sure that the account is in the section name. And we do need to obtain proper ACH routing For our US sections, all of those payments are ACH payments. So sometimes the ACH routing number will be different than the paper deposit routing number. So again, some of that information, like once you've uploaded your documents, all of that will be vetted and reviewed by HQ staff, and then we will get back to you if there is an issue or concern or missing information. But the basic documentation, if you have a canceled check, that is ideal. That contains everything that we need.
Yeah.
Bank statement, it has some of it. Bank statement's not going to have a routing number, but we will work with you on that once we get your submission.
Perfect. I see another chat. Let's see. What if the section plans to have 0 expenses and 0 earnings and does not plan to have a bank account at all? That question's for you, Janice. You're muted.
I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the question in the chat. Can you just go on to you?
Yeah, I think, yes, it says to me, direct message, sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
What if the section plans to have 0 expenses and 0 earnings and does not plan to have a bank account at all?
For the government filing?
This is for banking.
For banking.
Yeah, it says, what if the
Okay.
section plans to have 0 expenses and 0 earnings, and they don't plan to have a bank account at all? And from what I've heard you say, Janice, because of the reconciliation at the end of the year and the section funding going to the section, there would need to be a way to send that money to them. So there would be a quote unquote earnings, correct?
Correct. So in the case of a international section, a non-US section, we can work with you to utilize an expense report method where the section funding will go directly to an individual, but it has to be a full reimbursement. There's a completely separate method that we use for that. It gets very detailed with multiple approvals and things like that. So in that case, you would mark that you're not maintaining a bank account in the section's name.
And that would be up here.
Right, correct.
Okay. So I hope that answers the question. If that pertains to you, you're not planning on having a bank account at all, you would select we are not able to maintain a bank account. And that's when Janice had already said that will prompt them to take that offline with you and have that conversation outside of the app. Okay. Then you have down here at the bottom the additional details needed for non-US. So if you do have a bank account, because we know that some countries, you don't have to be in the United States to be able to have a bank account. Some of them do allow it. You'll need to provide us the account address. I'm just going to put some fictitious stuff here and the country, and we'll just, I don't know, I'll just pick something. And then you want to enter the account number and SWIFT code or the account number and IBAN. There is a little help button here, and it says complete if applicable to your country. It says the same thing here. Janice or Molly, can you guys give any indication to which applies to which country?
You would just get that information directly from your bank. They'll provide it to you most of the time. It's even accessible, if you have an online access, there will be a drop down where you can get that information. IBAN numbers don't apply to certain countries. Some they do, some they don't. Either way, you can get that directly from your bank.
From their bank. Okay,
Yep.
so you've heard that there first. If you don't know, just contact your bank and they should let you know if it's got a SWIFT code or the IBAN code. So in a perfect world, this would be filled out completely correct. And then we would click save and close. And there you have it. It's going to show up here. Now, remember, if you try to go back in here and edit this or look at it, it's not going to give you any information. Now it is here, like this information up here, but the banking information, because we know for security reasons that once you enter that information, the only time that you see it is when you're entering it from the section leader standpoint. Once you submit it, headquarters gets a copy of it and they can see exactly what you've sent, and then you get a copy of it in your email. But since this is something that people can scroll through and look at all of the different officers, different people, we do not display it once you've submitted it, so that it's not out there for anyone to kind of get information. That would not be a smart thing to do. So it will give you that message here. If you need further assistance for what you submitted, you can contact Molly or Janice and they will get that information to you. They're the only ones that see that information. So that does keep it secure. So that's kind of how you handle that. I see another question popping up. Okay, so that was just a gotta go message. So, okay, so we only have 3 more to go. And as you can see, this is still that light red. So it's waiting for Molly to look at. So now let's go to technical